Think you're a gaming master? Think again. The NES or the NES was home to some of the hardest, most unforgiving games ever made. It defined the term NES hard or NES hard. From brutal platformers to merciless boss fights, these games didn't just test your skills, they crushed your soul. So today, we're diving into some of the toughest NES games of all time. Get ready for frustration, nostalgia, and maybe even a few rage quits. Now here are just a few examples. It's not a top 10 or top 7, whatever, it's just a few examples. So let me know in the comments below your memories and which games I haven't covered. As always, if you think I've earned it, please hit the like and subscribe button, as well as the notification bell to be made aware of any new content. If you want to support the show financially, you can do at patreon.com/retrowars, where you'll get actively involved in the weekly podcast, join the best community in the world with the Smut Squad, and receive an additional podcast in DLC. Let's get into it, shall we? Here are some of the hardest games on the NES. Battletoads. Oh god, where do you start with this one? With challenging enemies and levels, the game features a variety of tough enemies that can overwhelm players, especially in the later stages. But what are the later stages? Let's simply be honest, who even knows? Because we've got Turbo Tunnel. It's infamous for that fast-paced, obstacle-heavy pain in the arse segments that required perfect coordination to avoid those hazards. And as of the time of writing and speaking this, I haven't done it. I'm stuck on level 3. Players only have a limited number of continues, and once they're used up, well, it's back to the beginning of the game, making it hard to progress without consistently mastering each stage, and just needing to be a master. The game's difficulty tends to spike unexpectedly, yes, level 3, with certain challenges being significantly harder than others, leading to frustration for players. Like, if you finish Battletoads, please let me know with an actual video, because I don't believe you otherwise. One day I will finish it, with about 1 million save states, but I'll finish it. Ninja Gaiden. This game has tough enemies and relentless AI. The enemies are aggressive and often come in swarms with having unpredictable attack patterns that make them hard to defeat, aka the fucking birds. Oh my god, how do you think that birds, they were the hardest enemy in any video game? Check that video out. It had limited checkpoints and continues, so basically you have to replay long sections after dying, and this can be very, very frustrating as you don't get many continues. And even more frustratingly, if you ended up losing all your lives and had to use a continue on the final bosses, you got sent back to the whole of level 6 world, which was absolutely shit, and the developers knew this and left it in. Because some of these bosses are tough, with multiple phases or unique mechanics that just demand skill and timing to overcome them, especially that last one. With the game's difficulty increasing sharply, with some levels feeling disproportionately hard compared to others, basically level 3 onwards. These elements combine to create a game that's difficult but rewarding, requiring mastery of combat, timing, and strategy, because it can be done. It can. You just need to do the grind. It's one of those things. Batman. Batman. With most of his games after this were a bit poo until we got to the PlayStation 3 era, the NES is considered really difficult. It had tough enemies and bosses, and they just come at you with large numbers, and even the bosses are particularly challenging. And Batman had limited resources, with his health and ammunition being scarce. So if you make a mistake, well, like in real life, Batman's screwed. The game had some really annoying difficulty spikes, particularly in some of the platforming sections with some tricky jumps, and you had to get used to enemy patterns and environmental hazards. And as always back in those days, this game was very mean with its continues. It hardly gave you any, so basically, if you died a lot, you're in trouble, and that's the end of the game. And some of these stages when I mentioned about the jumping, let's just go back to that. You've got to get pixel perfect platforming, and that's horrible, and I don't like that. Although there's another game on this list which is going to define that era. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oh, look, I love the Turtles. It's no secret on this show. I absolutely adore them. However, the first game on the NES wasn't really what everyone was expecting. The enemies are absolutely all over the place and can spawn out of absolute nowhere, and they can deal a lot of damage to you. So you've got to know their patterns, be able to know when you can glitch them out, and just have those quick reflexes needed to deal with them. And some of them have time limits. Oh, we know which level I'm talking about. That fucking underwater level. Oh my god, the bomb defusal level. Some people are going to be sitting here going, well, it's actually not that hard. It bloody goddamn is. It's so difficult, I made a t-shirt for it for the show, and I went round packs with it because it was goddamn cool. The game has limited continues in health. Well, basically, once your turtles are gone, that's the end of it. Although, knowing where the pizza is, that's another one. And it can also be said the controls aren't the best and the jumping's not really that good, leading to you missing quite a few platforms, which is also a pain in the arse. And some of the levels themselves can be quite complex, and yeah, it's a bit of a mess unless you actually know where you're going, so make a map, because if you know the route you gotta take, it's fine, but if you're just doing it at first, you're just gonna get lost, and that's not gonna be a good time. Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. Oh my god, where do you start with this? This game was so difficult that they had to bleed not even send it to the Americans because they thought they wouldn't finish. After the first one, people wanted a bit more difficulty in their games, and yeah, Nintendo went, let's make Super Mario Bros. Incredibly hard. Unlike the original one, the Lost Levels introduce wind physics, hidden warp zones that send players backwards, which is just harsh, and poisonous mushrooms that harm Mario instead of helping, and I bet we all had that. The original NES version lacks modern day saves, so yeah, if you fuck up, then back to the beginning you shall go. And remember I said about pixel perfect jumps? Yeah, this game definitely has it. There are some bottomless pits, and you're going to go down them if you don't get that little tiny little pixel. It was absolutely insane, and I can understand why the Americans went, no. And it really is the ultimate Mario challenge. Ghouls and Ghosts. Now, we all know, I know particularly about Super Ghouls and Ghosts for the Super Nintendo. However, this is based on the original. Again, like others, the game was just filled with relentless enemies, and they come at you at large numbers. So you've got to get that precise timing and the tactics to be able to do it. And like others on the list, you've got small numbers of lives and continues, so back you go if you fail. There are challenging sequences with dangerous gaps, moving platforms, and insta-death pitfalls that require the exact precision. Well, we all love an insta-death platform, don't we? But also, some of the weapons you get in the game are just weak. And then you're like, no, I don't want that weapon, I want something else. So you've got to be really careful about when you get the weapon and how to avoid the other ones. But where this game gets its notoriety from is when you finish the game and then you think you've done it. Well, no, you get sent back to the beginning again, and you need to complete at a harder difficulty if you want the true ending, which is just ballsy. Bastards. You bastards. And finally, Castlevania. Yeah, Castlevania is always going to be on this list. Now, what makes this difficult? Well, Simon Belmont literally is stiff. He is a wooden man. He is so stiff with his jump. Once he jumps, that's it. You can't change his direction. So you've really got to work out how you're going to jump. The knockback in this game is insane, often quoting the term Castlevania knockback. So Simon takes a little bit of damage and he'll probably fall into a pit, and I hate you for it. The enemies were placed in horrible areas where they know he's going to get that little Castlevania knockback and into the pit he goes. Swear to God, they just knew what they were doing, especially with Medusa heads and flea men. The boss fights were challenging. Again, you need to know the patterns, although if you've got the holy water, you can just cheese it. Use the holy water. Unlike normal movement as well, Simon doesn't like stairs. Oh, for the love of God, Simon does not like stairs. If he sees stairs, he crumbles immediately. He's like, Daddy, no, help me, I need my mummy. Oh, he can go up them, but he can't jump on them because, no, he dies. And also, the Dracula fight can eat ass. We all hate that fight. It's ridiculous. I don't like it. You suck, Dracula. And that's it. That is just 7 games which I thought are ridiculously difficult on the NES. As always, if you think I've earned it, please hit the like and subscribe button, as well as hit the notification bell to be made aware of any new content. And also let me know in the comments below about what NES games should be coming if I do a part 2 of this. Until then, I'll see you all in a few days. My name's been Danny, take care, bye bye.